Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Lindsay and I am a new mom to a baby girl. She is almost a month old. She turns a month old tomorrow. If you are new here, please hit that red subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up. But today's video is going to be things I wish I knew before labor and delivery. I have a long list of things that I wish I knew before, and so I'm going to share those with you so that you know them before you are in labor and delivery. So let's just get straight into the video. First thing, they provide almost everything. They provide diapers, wipes, pads, mesh underwear, a peri bottle. At least at my hospital, call and make sure that your hospital does provide everything like that. But even like when my gown got drenched in like amniotic fluid and stuff, they would give me a new gown. Just everything. They provide everything. They provide juice, they provide food, they provide everything for you. Ask as many questions as possible, and if you don't understand, just ask. They are there to help you. They are there to guide you through this big life-changing event. It's not like shameful or like weird to ask questions, and I thought that it might be, but my nurse was freaking amazing during like my active labor. He was awesome, and he was always asking me if I had questions, and then he asked Cody if he had questions as well, which really made him feel like he was a part and important because he was understanding everything that was going on. And yeah, just ask questions, ask as many as possible, especially if you're a first-time mom. You don't know what to expect. Another thing that my nurse told me is you are completely in charge of your birth. Things as well as the temperature in the room, the lights, if there's a movie on or not, if there's support people in there or not, you're in charge of everything. And of course, if there's an emergency during birth, they will probably whisk the baby away. Unless there's an emergency, you are in charge of everything and your birth plan and everything. Just remember that. Don't feel ashamed to say, hey, can you turn the heat up? I'm cold. Hey, can you turn the heat down? I'm hot. Things like that. And if you want more water, ask for more water, ask for more apple juice, ask for anything, because they are there to help you and make you the most comfortable during this huge life-changing event in your life, and it's not the most comfortable, so they are trying to help you out as much as they can. Another thing I wish I knew is that it's okay to get as much help as you can as possible while you're at the hospital. The nurses are there to teach you, they're there to help you. I didn't know how to swaddle before we had the baby. I knew like the idea of it, but I didn't actually know how was best to like fold the blankets under the baby. So ask for as much help if you need help as you can. Another thing that I learned is that the baby might have some small like minor issues like jaundice or a low blood pressure or not be eating enough. I had all three of those. She had low blood sugar because she wasn't eating enough, because breastfeeding was not going very well, and she also had jaundice. But they catch all that. That's why they test them before they leave the hospital, so you don't go home with a sick baby. Another thing that I wish I knew, I was really optimistic about breastfeeding, and and I thought that it would obviously kind of be hard to get her to latch at first, but it definitely was super, super hard. And actually she never completely latched, and that's why she had low blood sugar, is because she was not eating enough. And I thought she was, because they told me at the time how long she latched, and she just wasn't eating, like she wasn't getting enough so it's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. It's not your fault. And if you have to supplement with formula or go all formula feeding, it's okay. I ended up having to just exclusively pump because she won't latch at all. So it's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. It's not your fault. Things happen and you have to change your plans, and that's okay. That's another thing, is if you have to change your plan, like your birth plan or your after birth plan, that's okay. It'll be okay. I didn't have to change anything in my birth plan, but like if they had to whisk my baby away to like help her and save her, that would have been okay. I was planning on breastfeeding, and that obviously did not work out. But it's okay, my baby's still fed, and I actually had to supplement with formula for probably about a week or so when my milk was coming in. It took my milk forever to come in. As long as your baby's fed and you're doing okay, everything else will fall into place and it will be okay. Another thing I didn't know is that your baby comes out sticky. My baby, I gave birth at 39 weeks and 6 days, so just 1 day shy of my due date, and she came out with tons of vernix and tons of little peach fuzz, which they said is like typical for preemies, but obviously she was not a preemie. But she was super sticky, and it just was not something I was like expecting. I guess when she came out, I put my hand on her and I like looked at my hand, and the nurse was like, we're gonna wipe her down, don't worry. Like, I was just like, what the heck is on my hand? Another thing that I wish I knew before I went into labor and delivery is that it takes the baby a second to cry. When she came out, she wasn't crying immediately. She cried like once, and then it sounded like she was choking. And I asked the nurse, I said, is she choking? She's like, no, honey, she's just catching her breath, it's okay. And they started like sucking stuff out of her throat, because obviously all babies have stuff in their mouth and their throat when they're in the womb. It takes them a second, don't worry, they'll be fine. Another thing I wish I knew is the nurses come in like once every hour or two to check on you before and after baby's there. They came in all the time, they were always checking my blood pressure. I did have high blood pressure during labor and delivery, so even now I'm having to take my blood pressure every day, and I have to do that until my 6-week appointment. They come in all the time, and they're always giving you like Tylenol and stool softeners and just different things. It's all throughout the night, so you wake up all the time in the middle of the night. Like, I wake up less now in the middle of the night than I did when I was in the hospital. Another thing I didn't know is that your feet swell up after giving birth. So my feet were swollen before, and then the day after they weren't swollen, and then the day after that they swelled up again because I was in the hospital bed for so long, and I thought I was like getting preeclampsia or something because my blood pressure was high and my feet were swelling, but they just were swollen because I was in bed for so long. So don't worry about your feet swelling, and if they're worried about it, they will help fix it. Another thing I didn't know, I did not care who saw anything, my whole body. I didn't care who saw what they saw while I was giving birth. I just knew that it was, people were gonna see down there, they were gonna have to, obviously, but I just didn't care. If a guy saw it, if a girl saw it, I didn't care. And I thought I would care, and I didn't at all. Another thing that I wish I knew is that everyone is your cheerleader. All the nurses, all of the lactation consultants, everyone is your cheerleader. I have heard so many horror stories of the nurses being awful during labor and delivery, but that was not my experience at all. I had the best nurses. Everyone in the whole like wing was cheering me on, coming to check on me, checking my baby's vitals, coming in if they thought that my baby's vitals or my vitals were a little high, they'd come check on me or call my nurse to come check on me. And that just was so reassuring that everybody cared so much about the well-being of myself and my baby. I just really appreciated the fact that everyone cared so much. And then the last thing that I learned is that have people, or that I wish I knew, is to just have people that are supportive and loving to you in your room at the time, before, during, and after birth. The birth room, that is the most vulnerable you'll be in your entire life probably. So only have people that you trust and care about in the room with you, or don't have anyone at all if you don't want anyone. But that was my experience, is I had people that I really loved and cared about before, during, and after birth in the room with me. These are things that I wish that I knew before labor and delivery. If you guys learned something, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below what you learned. But before you leave, hit that red subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.